The road across the farm fields of Middle America is a long way from Washington and the White House. This past week, the presidential motorcade cut through the heartland, stopping in Minnesota, Iowa, and Illinois, 3 states Barack Obama carried in the last election. But the faltering economy has made voters everywhere uneasy.
Please don't challenge us with more rules and regulations from Washington, D.C.
This is one of the most painful places I think our country has been in decades or centuries.
I don't think we should solve this debt crisis on the backs of the middle class.
For 3 days, the president traveled in the new black armored bus commissioned for him by the Secret Service and nicknamed Ground Force One. We caught up with him when it pulled over in Illinois.
How do you like your new bus?
You know, the bus is terrific, mainly because it allows me to get into places that otherwise we couldn't go.
It has a slightly Darth Vader quality to it.
I will say that unless I'm in the front of the bus, people can't see a thing.
No.
Absolutely.
After the bruising battle to raise the debt ceiling, the president was eager to be seen out here. Mr. Obama was about to escape on a 10-day vacation, but the economy's troubles have proved inescapable.
This has been a scary summer for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Because the stock market, economy is struggling.
Right.
Should Congress be back in Washington? Should you be going on vacation?
Well, no, because I think that, if all we're doing is the same posturing that we saw before the debt limit vote, that's not going to encourage anybody. That's going to discourage people. And the reason I'm out here is to remind people what the expectations of ordinary Americans are. In small towns like this and in big cities all across America, they are saying to their representatives, stop playing the games and get something done.
The road into Atkinson, Illinois, population 1,100, was lined with nearly as many American flags. Larry Eckert, who collects Old Glory, had planted them for people awaiting the president's arrival.
Having an avenue of flags this long, this is about 2-3 miles, it brings a lot of emotion back to them, and it kind of jars them awake and makes them realize that, hey, it is a great country.
When he stopped in Atkinson Wednesday, the president tried to reassure voters of that too.
There's nothing wrong with our country right now. There is something wrong with our politics.
At a town hall meeting in the warehouse of Whiffle's Hybrids, a seed corn company,
my question is about jobs.
He got an earful about the economy.
Since the debt ceiling fiasco in Washington, we have no consumer confidence after what has just happened.
Whiffle's employees, Fritz Baer, Carly Elliott Bowman, and Jeff Hartz, were in the crowd.
In general, how do you feel about the country right now, where we are? Fritz?
Concerned. I mean, our political process is scary, and the economy is kind of on edge.
Baer voted for Obama in the last election. Hartz and Bowman voted for John McCain.
What would you like to hear from the president right now?
Well, I'd love for him to say that, our economy is going to blossom once again.
And I think, there's a lot of people that are just tired of listening about what we need to do, and, they want to see something happen. They want to see the results of all this talk.
When the town hall ended, we met with the president in a back corner of the Whiffle's warehouse.
This past week, your popularity hit a record low. What does that say to you?
Well, what it says to me is I'm the President of the United States, and when people aren't happy with what's happening in Washington, that I'm going to be impacted just like Congress is. I completely understand that. We expected that. That frustrates people, understandably. And you've got an unemployment rate that is still too high and an economy that's not growing fast enough. And for me to argue, look, we've actually made the right decisions. Things would have been much worse had we not made those decisions. That's not that satisfying if you don't have a job right now, and I understand that. And I expect to be judged a year from now on whether or not things have continued to get better.
Things did not get better this past week. August has been a month of anxiety on Wall Street. Stocks have tumbled as renewed fears of another recession have frightened the markets.
I think the markets were reacting to is the fact that the economy has not grown as quick as it needs to. There have been a lot of headwinds, the European debt crisis, Japan, high gas prices from the Arab Spring. And so if the economy is not growing faster than 2%, it means unemployment's not coming down as quick as it needs to. And what a lot of folks are worried about is that the recovery that we have been on is stalling or not moving as quickly as it needs to.
Do you think we're in danger of another recession?
I don't think we're in danger of another recession, but we are in danger of not having a recovery that's fast enough to deal with what is a genuine unemployment crisis for a whole lot of folks out there. And
well,
that's why we need to be doing more.
We have that already, though, don't we? I mean, it seems to me the concern last week and the week before was that the market was saying we were closer to it than we thought, and that, in fact, the markets themselves might cause consumers to pull back and tip us into a recession.
Well, what is absolutely true is confidence matters. We should not have had any kind of brinksmanship around the debt ceiling. I wish that the Speaker had taken me up on a grand bargain to deal with our long-term debt and deficit. We still have the opportunity to fix that. It's not too late.
People look at Washington and they think it's broken to the point of being irreparable. Do you think the damage to the process is irreparable?
I don't think it's irreparable. I mean, keep in mind, there have been times where Congress was just as dysfunctional. There have been times where the country was full of vitriol in its politics. So this isn't unique to our time.
The president will propose a new jobs and economic growth package after Labor Day. But with the 2012 presidential campaign already underway, is anyone going to want to play let's make a deal? The bad blood between Democrats and Republicans seems to have enshrouded the Capitol in a kind of Cold War chill.
Margaret Thatcher famously said when Gorbachev took power in Russia, I can do business with this man. Right. Can you do business with the Republican leadership?
Oh, I absolutely can do business with him. The issue is not going to be whether I can do business with John Boehner. The issue is if John Boehner and I are able to come to an agreement, can he sell it among his fellow Republicans inside the House of Representatives? So far, at least, that's proven to be difficult.
Have you spoken to him since that deal fell through?
I did speak to him. Obviously, we had to get at least a deal done to avoid default, which we did, but that's not good enough.
Was that relationship damaged because of the failure of that to work?
I think it raises questions, as I said, as to whether the Speaker is able to move his caucus to take tough decisions. Because I know that I'm willing, at least, to go to my party, to go to my fellow Democrats, and say to them, you know what, even if there's some things that you think aren't good short-term politics, this is good for the country, and we should be willing to go ahead and find the kinds of common ground and compromise that allows us to move the country forward. And if that's happening on both sides, there's no reason why we can't solve problems.
Along the roads in Minnesota, Iowa, and Illinois, and at the Wiffles warehouse, Mr. Obama was given mostly a warm reception this past week.
You have some appreciation for what he's going through, but the reality is the same when he drove out of the building as it is when he drove into it. So, we got a lot of issues, and we got to figure out how to fix them.
On the last day of his listening tour in Galesburg, Illinois, the president made a surprise visit to the high school and used a break in football practice to give the Silver Streaks a pep talk on the importance of teamwork.
Football teaches you a lot about how to play as a team. And obviously that's part of what we need as a country, is everybody chipping in and playing as a team and being motivated and doing their best. And
it was just another speech. But as the president surely knows, when a team doesn't play together, the coach is usually the first to get fired.
I'm looking at this football game behind you. Has Washington turned out to be more of a contact sport than you thought it was going to be?
No, I think that the truth is that politics in America has always been a contact sport, and it's not like I had a breeze campaigning to get to Washington.
First of all, I just want to let you know of one thing. I'm not disappointed in you, like Michelle Bachmann wants everyone to believe.
Thank you. I think you've got to have a pretty thick skin to be a president of the United States. And, out of necessity, I read a lot of history these days, and you know, when you see what they said about Jefferson, what they said about Lincoln, what they said about some pretty good presidents, it makes you feel a little bit better.
Is your skin as thick as you thought it would be?
Thicker.
All right, we got to get out of
Thanks.
here. Thanks, man.
All right.